First with the woolly bear caterpillars and now these minute pirate bugs.
And those will continue at least through the weekend, but there is some relief that could head our way, could end the bug season for some of us, or at least put a pause on them next Thursday. We are first alerting to next Thursday morning, October 9th. Data is indicating that behind this cold front on Tuesday could bring in enough colder air away from Lake Michigan for some patchy frost, potentially our first frost of the season for some Michiana communities. It won't be widespread. It won't be a killing frost or freeze, but rather some frost concerns that will be in place next Thursday. And this is something our First Alert weather team will continue to monitor. And that's these numbers for next Thursday, October 9th. Back to our bugs, though. It's been all about the stink bugs. In fact, I continue to get messages that a lot of folks out there getting inundated with these stink bugs. They love this late season warm weather, and we've got perfect weather for them all the way through the first weekend of October. We'll have to wait until a cool down next week tries to slow them down just a touch, but they're not going to go dormant anytime soon locally. Check out these temperatures for the weekend. Our forecast in white, the record highs in yellow. We're going to be very close, likely within 1, 2, 3 degrees of potentially tying these record highs throughout this weekend in Michiana. A very warm first weekend of October. Latest data with First Alert Weather Feeder Truck. We've had a few clouds around for today. That hasn't really stopped our temperatures, though, from reaching up into the 80s. Tonight into Friday morning, we'll wave goodbye to those thin clouds, and then what we'll be on First Alert for is a few puffy cumulus clouds for tomorrow afternoon. But don't fret. No rain, unfortunately, from those clouds. Even though we need the raindrops, no rain is expected for any portion of our weekend. High school football at 7 p.m. Friday. Temperatures right on the heels of around 80 degrees for kickoff, cooling down to the 70s and 60s throughout Friday evening. Taking it a step further into our Saturday, it is a home football game at Notre Dame Stadium, and we're going to see temperatures in the 70s for tailgating. Quickly warming up, though, into the mid-80s for kickoff, and we'll keep the 80s around all the way through a good chunk of the game as the Irish take on the Broncos. 3:30 p.m. kickoff right here on WNDU, and it will be a warm one. In fact, the warmest October home football game for the Irish in nearly over a decade. In fact, you have to go back about 14 years from the last time we had an October home football game. Well, into the 80s. And we'll feel a little bit on the humid side Saturday, but nothing significant. We'll have to wait until the humidity to rise next Tuesday with our next First Alert cold front. And it is next Tuesday where the data is suggesting where we could have around a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch of rainfall with this cold front arriving about a week from now, early next week, next Tuesday. Here's an update to our First Alert 10-day. After the 80s this weekend, we dropped them down into the 70s for Tuesday afternoon. And then we take it a step further, George. Wednesday, Thursday, we're talking daytime highs in the 60s. Even though that looks cold, that's about where we should be this time of year. Normal high into the upper 60s, so we're going back to where we should be during the first full week of October. But again, we are watching that frost concern next Thursday morning.
All right with the world when October turns out like October should, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We will be back in a moment.
Missing the news doesn't mean you've missed the news.